Well, I'm running through another Turbo round of Edric. I'll bring up the deck list at the end. This one is named 19 for 20 because I do lose one of the games in here. I was actually a little bit peaked after losing it just because of the way I went down, but that's just how it goes. Sometimes you aren't going to win. So anyway, well, stick around and hopefully you'll enjoy this, and I'll show you what's going on. So lead off with a Boreal Druid. My opponent's got what appears to be a slow start. So I get down with turn 2 Grim Oracle, revealing Terastodon. It was a toss-up between that and going with Raphaelos or Karn on the next turn. So this turn he plays Necrotic Sliver, and I just decide what the heck, I'm going to attack with Oracle. I didn't actually think he would block here, so him blocking was totally fine, but it did slow me down this game. My first game of the day, I wasn't playing perhaps as well as I could have been. So anyway, I do remember though the problem with Raphaelos was I didn't have that second green. So anyway, now I do. Sit down with the Priest. Opponent's Aura Shards my tapped Grim Monolith, which is fine. Keep attacking him in an attempt to get cards. First of all, I Karn the Sorin. I probably should have swung first to try to get him to block, to chump, and then Karn his guy, but that's fine. Karn's one of the newer additions to the deck. I think makes tons of sense because of the amount of ramp the deck gets, and because it does something that green and blue can struggle to do, make your opponent discard as well as destroying permanents. Besides, he's just completely boss. So I ramped down to Archdruid and a Jace. I was going to bounce his Juniper Order, attack him and draw a card, and he gives up. And then, of course, Terastodon was coming. So game 2, hopefully a little bit quicker here. My opponent is playing Janara, Asura of War. And so I keep a modest hand. Chrome Mox, another new addition, loaned to me, actually, by Brian Weissman, as he was saying that it's too good not to play, and I was saying I didn't have the tickets for it. When I foiled a lot of the Edric deck, I did it a little bit too aggressively, and ended up running out of tickets. So you'll see like non-foils in there, and also the ability to pick up things like a Chrome Mox or whatever, much less a foil one. So anyway, I just develop, and then orb him down. And he slowly recovers here, but I mean, he's Jutaxian probed my hand, so he knows I have the Treachery in hand. And so I don't know why he gives up in response to Oracle, but he was doomed anyway. Obviously, he was going to play the land and then Treachery his guy and untap my lands and probably drain Shermit. So anyway, liking the Chrome Mox, liking the Karn. And I love Oracle. I was debating Oracle versus Wood Elves. I think Oracle is just too good, and there's enough deck manipulation with this sack lands and everything else that it pays off far more often than it misses. So my opponent goes, wow, turn 2 Survival, going first. Thankfully, I've got Claim. And it looks like that was he banked his whole game plan on that. So I get done with Sylvan just because it's harder to kill than Edric there. And it's going to draw me 3 cards versus the 1. And then I go ahead and take said cards. Play Raphaelos, figuring I'll use a map at the end of his turn. And he catches up a little bit with an Oracle of his own. But I map for Cradle. Sylvan reveals a bunch of good stuff, and I'm able to take his guy, use his guy to play my own Strip Mine, and then I was about to Trastod on him when he gives up that turn. Thanks to Sower. Sower and Cradle is just so good together, since it basically costs half the mana once it resolves. Okay, I believe here you're going to see me lose. I kept a hand that's a little bit slow because it doesn't have a green to play first turn Claim or Arbor Elf. And so in response to my opponent's sackline. I drew a forest in response to his sackline. I kill his Mox, but it doesn't matter. He's able to factor fiction. I decide I'm going to split up the cards like this, because I kind of want him to take the 3 pile. Since I have Predator, I can kill the Lotus. But if he doesn't take the 3 pile, this will speed him up significantly. But at least they're both fragile to the Predator. And he takes the 3 pile, so I figured, okay, I've got a decent amount of time now. He's playing my game. But he probes and sets up. I kill his only red and get down with Arbor Elf so that I can... And then he tutors for High Tide. And I was thinking, like, okay, he's going to High Tide out the Lotus or something, so I get down with Predator. I'm not really sure what I could have done here. Probably nothing. But he High Tides into Turnabout. He's playing combo, so Gild the Lotus, Past in Flames, so he can recast High Tide and Turnabout. Cage Sun, searches for Frantic, so yeah, so this is how I lose. Takes another turn, tutors. I end up splitting like Temporal and one other card, I think Coalition Relic, to try to get him to spend some mana. He takes Temporal. And I figured, since High Tide was over, that I might have a chance to get in the game. I mean, if I can attack with Predator, you know. But what happens is... so he gets his commander down and takes another turn. And then attacks, of course. Compulsives into this stuff. Is able to take another turn. Slide off the top. A Jace. Revealing Get More. Shenanigans. All this stuff coming off the top. He shows another Time Warp that he's going to be able to play, and I mean, okay, whatever, fella. I give up. It's turn 8, but it's actually like, you know, turn 4 for me. But no big deal. I kept a slow hand and had no counters. I suppose that was my bad, but I really didn't anticipate a High Tide combo deck going off. How can you? So, you know, Edric loses sometimes. Although I very easily could beat that deck. By, you know, depending on how things play out there. I mean, if you didn't have the Factor Fiction into what he Factor Fiction into, you know, it would have been a very different game. So, but that's the nature of combo. I mean, I don't think combo in this format is probably any good, but worked for him that time. So anyway, I'm playing against Queen now, Sliver Queen now, and opponent's got a decent ramp, but it's mostly mana based, and I'm about to opposition him. And I guess Winter Orb was enough for him to give up, so he quits. This guy playing Gave Gitu of Spores. I've got a great draw. And I guess because I'm playing Edric and play first turn creature, he gives up, so whatever. I don't care about people who quit easily. They quit before they've even fought. They have no fight in them. So look at this. So Simic Signet is also a new addition. So is Luterial Core. Karn, of course, is, as I mentioned before. And it all comes together in this hand here. Look at this fast start. And then there's the Oracle. Just so many great things happening with the deck now, I think. I'm very happy with it. Looter comes down and whatever. I guess he's like miles behind and decides he gives up. So, this game, I've got another Soul Ring. He's got Porphyros. And I keep just because of the Soul Ring, even though there's not much else going along with it, but manage to top deck some speed, and it's too much for him, and he gives up. This is a common theme. I ramp out extremely well. My opponent gives up. It seems to happen a lot. I think that it's probably a bad sign when if your opponent ramps, you lose, because this format's all about ramping. So I have a very slow hand against this guy, but I keep it because I've got the Bounce Land and a Lotus and the Llanowar Elves. Mainly the Lotus there, and the Winter Orb tells me that I have some a long-term plan for how I want this game to play out. So I know he's got the Soul Ring in his hand, and thanks to Arbor being a creature, I'm able to counter it. And he tries to set me back a bit by bouncing my Arbor. The Arbor has done its job being a counterspell for me that time. So get down with Winter Orb. And he's down to 1 land. Of course, next turn I'm going to play the Lotus and Arrayo, most likely. He's done for. So, this guy's playing Omnath. Lotus, another one of those new cards. And he won't play against Edric. Okay, whatever. This guy, playing Kalia the Vast. As I recall, I make a misplay in this game, but he's not able to punish me for it, and he only gets the 1 chance. So I mulligan the first hand. It is a 0-lander with a Mox, and I could have tried for it, but decided not to. First turn Elves is right, and I discard Snapcaster, because I'm not going to have any targets. I don't have time for that. And I discard the Grove, because either I draw a land or I don't. If I draw no land, I've got Soul Ring, Loot, or Go, or Soul Ring, Winter Orb. If I draw a land, I can play either Edric, or I can play everything in my hand. I draw a land, so I go for everything in my hand. So, Looter, Winter Orb. So far I'm playing right, and here's where I play wrong. I should have untapped Strip Mine, and Strip Mine is land, not the tropical island. But I don't, so I play Edric and pick up my Strip Mine, because there's no way for me to fetch it up. And draw, and then here I misplay again. So this turn was really bad. I should have pitched Sylvan Library. I mean, I don't need Sylvan Library. I've got an active Edric going and 3 creatures. I throw away Treachery. So if he plays a land here and Kalia, I have no, in my hand at least, I have no answer for that. But he plays a land that comes into play tapped and vindicates the orb. So it works out for me. I mean, him vindicating the orb is a bummer, but it gave me the time I need, so I just throw a Mox time in there. Play Sylvan, Grim Vault, both like semi-new additions, and then he Lightnings my hand away. But, I mean, look at how much mana I have in play. So, smash, draw a bunch of cards, and draw, go get a counterspell. I mean, I have a mana crypt I don't even need anymore. That's how bad it is for him, so just let him kill Edric. Fetch a land, Mystical for Natural Order, and pay some life, recast my commander, draw even more cards, and then just go ahead and Natural Order him out of the game. So luckily he wasn't able to capitalize on my mistake, but that could have gone very poorly. It could have been 18 for 20 instead of 19 for 20. So this guy is playing Maelstrom Wanderer. I'm going first, which is really important with this hand. And I hit him for a point of damage. Oh yeah. So now comes Trinket into Crypt into Jace. And he accelerates a bit, trying to catch up, I guess. So I shuffle with Jace with Crimson Zenith, since I know I don't want the next couple of cards. Jace putting back a few things that I'm not anticipating playing at the moment. Play Sword of Feast or Famine, hit him for a card and reset my mana, and then get down with a Bloom Tender, and then have Remand up. But at least that was the plan, but he gives up. So that's fine. And then Karn was coming. So I play again a new game against Rada Erdekeld. And I have to mulligan twice, but I mulligan for speed purposes into this outstanding hand. Play turn 2 GT and swing. He's able to kill my guy, but I have the Rofellos back up. And so, this turn I cast Edric Druid. Kills my Rofellos. Very poorly done of him to have allowed me to use the Rofellos instead of he should have just killed it, so I didn't get the mana to do as much as I did that turn. And so equip GT and swing and orb him down. He's pretty much in bad straits, but he does have a decent turn here for him, in which he's able to Greaves his guy. Of course, I kill it in response. For some reason, he isn't Greaves' Burning Tree. I think that's foolish, but at any rate, I'm able to. I just get rid of the snap with my Mox. Sack him for a card and play Jace and Mystic while I was about to, but he gives up. So anyway, so I keep this hand here. Lead what would turn out turn 1 Arbor, turn 2 Druid. Way ahead of him. And anyway, I'm in a natural order. I'm out of the game here with a counterspell backup. So, pretty quick one there. So here I've got a... actually, it's weird because you could actually keep that if you had a land, I guess, but I don't, so I mulligan. And when you have a mana heavy draw, this is one of the reasons I guess I like Oracle. It helps with those mana fat draws. And he does me a huge favor where he land heavy draws rather. He does me a huge favor with the Rot Farm buying me a couple of turns there. So I don't sack this. I was thinking about getting a dual land or something, but I wasn't sure what I wanted yet. If I wanted an Arbor and clamp it or something like that. Anyway, or if I wanted to like cast Muddle the Mixture. But at this point, I know that I want a dual land, so I go for dual. Play Garrick and attack, thinking he might have removal, and was saving it for the attack step, and I would cast Muddle on it. Even better though, I draw mana drain, so swing in for another card. And go ahead and just get down with my guy. Playing a free land. I'm equipping Oracle. And here he naturalizes the clamp, and I'm fine with that. He has a good play. He wastelands my land before attacking. So I just tap blue so he'll at least declare his attack step. And then snap his guy, so I can draw a few extra cards. Go find some more lands for Oracle, and boom, there it is. There it is. So now he's pretty much done for. Trusted on Arbor and dead. So here I'm playing against Omnath, and we're almost done. And turn 1 Bird, very weak hand as far as like it's way light on spells. So he's got a Magus and he threatens to draw a card and then tap his top and then draw another card, and I really don't want that, so I try to set him back a bit by snapping the Magus and then hoping it's going to get it done. Unfortunately, he's got this hexproof Ungrove Elder who's big enough to block my guys. I really have like no play here, so this is kind of like problematic. But it did slow down his Magus. He's not drawing 2 cards per turn at least, and he hasn't even had a chance to get it back into play. So top deck Lotus, which is pretty great actually. Sending my guys, and since I plan to be recasting my commander, and so Lotus into Raphaelis ensures that I can kill Edric as much as I want now. I'm going to always be able to replay it. He's got the envious position of having Oracle top. And his Magus is down now, but he doesn't have the cards in hand to make it work. So he hits me with Thungrove, which is a play I really disagree with. I really could just play Edric and attack here, and what's he going to do? Anyway, I don't know. I guess he would trade Raphaelis for Magus, but still, I don't like his play. So I get down with Edric, and I have to let him do what he's going to do. Here, I could have made a better play. I should have responded to this by Cyclonic Rifting, and then he would have activated his top to get a scrying, most likely, and then it would have got shuffled into his library. But I don't, because he has 1 mana here, and I want him to use all of it before I rift. And so he goes and gets like a ton of lands, and I don't counterspell it because I really think that rifting and drawing cards is more important. He's down to 4 cards, so, well, 5 if you count the top, but I mean, I know his top card there now is pretty weak, so I won't need to counter that much. So for things to be good, so in response to the top, I go ahead and just rift. So he has to activate the top if he wants to, if he doesn't want to return to his hand, and if he doesn't, like that, he's got to discard a card. So that worked out for me. It's a good card too, Oracle. So I get in looking for solutions and don't find any. So anyway, I'm able to deploy a bit and pass the turn with a Treachery ready to go. And I leave the Dungrove because with a Treachery and a Force. I leave the Dungrove because I'm anticipating having a larger blocker than the 14/14 Dungrove. And let him have Garrick, let him have Omnath, let him have this. What I don't want, what I'm afraid of is like Tooth or Nail or something like that, so I'm just chilling. So now I go get my bigger than Dungrove Elder. First, playing Drain Shermit, next a Bloom Tender, and then stealing an Omnath. So yeah, that thing's a monster. And I just actually swing in, let him kill one of my creatures. He decides to double block one of them to kill it, two of his guys, and I draw a card. And so I don't draw a card, but I mean, after combat I play Edric with and a Crucible with 18 green floating. So he plays Fierce Empath, and again I could have countered it, and then so he wouldn't get like a big thing, like he could get, you know, something really scary here. But I don't, because, you know, if I counter that and then he plays Tooth and Nail, I'll look pretty stupid. Or like Genesis Wave or something like that. So anyway, he plays Ulamog and is able to get his Omnath back. So I just go ahead and just counter the Ulamog because I don't even want to play. It's not going to counter the Treachery kill, but his Omnath is much smaller than my Omnath was. I pay the upkeep on Hermit, just bounces his commander, and activate Garrick's ultimate, and that's lethal damage on the board. So, I mean, all that struggle was like a struggle for control, and then suddenly it became about life totals and he was dead. So this guy here, playing Tristani, I think he gives up somewhat quickly, if I recall correctly. They get first turn Looter, he is nothing and does that horrible tap out thing that I'm totally opposed to. It's a throwaway land. Figuring I'll find more. And I do. Strub Mine and play a Vault, mana drain his shards, and then Trastodon him out of the game. Right on time, turn 4 Trastodon. So I mulligan against this guy here. Aurelia into a sweet little hand there. Some of the newer cards. Funny thing was, in that game, if my last game, if my opponent hadn't given me a mana drain target, I would have still been able to make the same play. I just would have done it off the Crypt. So, or the Vault rather. So he gets down with a blocker, just a blocker, not so good, and gives up. Alright, second to last one, playing against Joey Buttafuoco. Yes, I'm playing Joey Buttafuoco. I wonder if it's the real guy. Who knows? So I lead off with turn 1 Mana Elf. Got another fantastic hand. It's rare that I'll keep a hand that isn't reasonably fantastic. And he's got a Sylvan, which is of course awesome. And Sylvan into Trigon against this hand is even more amounts of awesome. But I've got Scroll for Snap, and so it doesn't matter too much. And I hang on to the Zenith because I've got a plan. So he gets down with a Mana Vault, so I'm not going to be able to leak, but I can counter the Trigon Predator. And exactly 9 mana off of the land from the graveyard, plus a Green Sun Zenith equals turn 4 Scoop. And last game, so I'm playing the White King, playing Daxos of Meletus, and I've got my Chrome Mox in my hand again. Another chance to play around with some newer things. So get down turn 1 Mystic, turn 2 I print the Brainstorm, which is great. I didn't want to have to waste a Witness or a Tutor, but I did want to play turn 2 Edric Draw. So turn 3 I go ahead and just fetch up a Mana Drain ahead of combat and smash, and then since he really he seems to have mana problems, I play the Elf and figure I'll go ahead and Mystical. I get Natural Order, and I'm sure you can see where this is going. And turn 4 Trastodon him. He doesn't scoop though. It's not turn 4 Scoop, so I play Sylvan. No big deal. Look at that beautiful setup with Oracle. Boom boom, land land. Of course, with Crucible Oracle is another just ridiculous ridiculous situation. So I figure, he's probably going to trade here for the Trastodon, since I don't have anything for him to attack back, like Tezzret's not in play. That's perfect. I mean, there was no drawback to him since he traded right there. So I just fetch and look at the top cards of Rayo. And I use Sylvan to set up a freebie for Oracle. Cast Crucible, play another sack land. And I guess he's finally had enough. So that is 20 games, 19 victories. Here is the deck list. And if you stuck around for all of that, I do appreciate your interest in my videos. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.